Hi friends, welcome to my channel. Before going to the video, those who are not subscribed our channel, subscribe it and also click the bell button. In this video we are going to see about optical sources. Optical sources are devices used in fiber optic communication to convert the electrical signal into light signal. Light means electromagnetic radiation of any wavelength. Visible light is carried by photons, and there are also other kinds of electromagnetic radiation like X-rays, microwaves, radio waves, gamma rays, etc. The optical sources should have the following characteristics. That is, first they should emit light at wavelengths that minimize optical fiber loss and dispersion. Optical sources should have small light emitting area which is capable of launching light into the fiber. And also they should have narrow radiation pattern, that is the beam width should be very narrow. And their output power should be proportional to the driving current, that is it should obey the linearity property. Then the response time of optical sources should be very fast and they should accurately track the input electrical signal. They should have narrow spectral width, that is the line width should be narrow. The optical sources used in fiber optic communication are light emitting diodes and semiconductor lasers. In this video we are going to see in detail about light emitting diodes. LEDs are semiconductor devices which emit monochromatic light of low intensity when an electric current is passed through it. Monochromatic means LEDs only emit one color of light because they emit light at only single wavelength. When the electrons and holes combine together within the semiconductor, light is produced spontaneously from the LED. The energy of the photons that are emitted is determined by the band gap of the semiconductor, and it is given by the relation H into F is equal to H into C by lambda, which is the energy of photons, should be less than or equal to band gap energy of the semiconductor, where H is the Planck's constant, F is the frequency of emitter photons, C is the velocity of light, lambda is the wavelength. Symbol of LED is shown in the figure. It has a anode and cathode similar to normal PN junction diode, and in addition it has two arrows indicating the emission of photons. LEDs are used in forward biased condition, and in reverse biased condition they behave as normal PN junction diode. These LEDs are made up of elements from group 3 and group 4 of the periodic table, and hence they are called as group 3-5 materials. These materials in LED are selected such that the wavelength of the released photons is within the visible portion of the light spectrum. The semiconductor materials used in LED produce photons of different wavelengths which appear as light of different colors. Hence we have different color LEDs. The table shows the semiconductor materials used in LED and color of LED, wavelength in micrometer and band gap energy in electron volts. First, indium gallium nitride. The color of LED are blue, green and ultraviolet region, and wavelength is 0.38 to 0.4 and band gap is 0.69 to 3.4 electron volt. For silicon carbide, the color of LED is blue and wavelength is 0.43 to 0.5, band gap energy is 3.2. For gallium phosphide, the color of LED is yellow and green, wavelength is 0.55 micrometer, band gap energy is 2.24. For aluminum gallium indium phosphide, color of LED is yellow orange and red. Wavelength is 0.61 to 0.68 micrometer and band gap energy is 1.82 to 1.9994 electron volt. 1.82 to 1.94 electron volt. For aluminum gallium arsenide, color of LED is red and infrared and wavelength is 0.8 to 0.9 micrometer and band gap energy is 1.4 to 1.55 electron volt. For gallium arsenide, color of LED is infrared and wavelength is 0.9 micrometer and band gap is 1.4 electron volt. For indium arsenide, the color of LED is red and wavelength is 3.43 micrometer and band gap energy is 0.36 electron volt. LED is basically a PN junction with heavily doped N-type semiconductor and lightly doped P-type semiconductor. The junction of LED may be homojunction or heterojunction. If you see homojunction LEDs, same semiconductor material is used on both the sides of the PN junction. These homojunction LEDs are often surface emitters, that is, the light is emitted from the surface of the LED. In homojunction LEDs, the carriers are not confined to the immediate vicinity of the junction and hence high current densities cannot be realized. Hence we go for heterojunction LEDs. Heterojunction is formed between dissimilar semiconductors, that is, semiconductors having different band gap energies. This heterojunction may be isotype or anti-isotype. Isotype means made of same N-type, N into N-type and P into P-type. Anti-isotype means we use P-type and N-type materials. In heterojunction, a thin layer of 0.1 micrometer is sandwiched between P-type and N-type layers. The middle layer of the heterojunction may or may not be doped. Here, the carrier confinement occurs due to band gap discontinuity of the junction. These heterojunction LEDs are edge emitters, that is, the light is emitted from the edge of the LEDs. Next is double heterojunction. A double heterojunction is formed by two different semiconductors on either side of the active region. These semiconductor materials have different band gap energies and also different refractive indices. Here, the active region has a higher refractive index than the materials on either side of the active region. Double heterojunction is used in LED structure in order to achieve efficient confinement of emitted radiation. Next, we will see about the types of LED. The two main types of LED used in fiber optic communication are surface emitting LED and edge emitting LED. First, we will see about surface emitting LED. In this, light is emitted from the surface of the LED, and this surface from which active light is emitted is oriented perpendicular to the axis of the fiber. Surface emitting LEDs radiate light at a wide angle and this radiation is of Lambertian pattern. The radiation of surface emitting LED is highly incoherent, hence they are not suitable for use as sources for coupling to an optical fiber. These LEDs are usually used as signaling devices and as indicators in panels and instruments. Next is the edge emitting LED. In edge emitting LED, the light is emitted from the edge of the LED. We go for edge emitting LED to reduce the losses caused by absorption in the active region and to make the beam more directional or more concentrated. This LED consists of an active region, which is the source of incoherent light, and two optical cladding layers. These layers are also called guiding layers. They are used to confine the light to the emitting layer. The refractive index of optical cladding layers is lower than the active region, but it is higher than the surrounding material. Here also the emission pattern is of Lambscian and it is more concentrated, that is directional. Here, to maximize the power output, a reflector may be placed at the end of the LED opposite to the emitting edge. The figure shows the surface and edge emitting LEDs with double heterostructure. For surface emission, the top layers are made thin and they have low absorption for the emitted radiation. In edge emission, optical cladding layers are used to confine the light to the emitting layer. Here the optical cladding layers are P plus, that is indium phosphide, and N plus indium phosphide. Optical cladding layers are heavily concentrated. In both the devices, double heterojunctions are formed, and at equilibrium the Fermi levels line up and depletion region lies mostly in the gallium arsenide region, which is lightly doped. When forward biased, electrons and holes are injected into the depletion region, that is the gallium arsenide region, and they recombine radiatively with energy equal to the band gap of gallium arsenide. The wide band gap of aluminum gallium arsenide act as confining layer for the carriers. Edge emitting LEDs have better coupling efficiency than surface emitting LEDs, and edge emitting LEDs are temperature sensitive. Next is the quantum efficiency. The internal quantum efficiency of an LED is defined as the ratio of radiative recombination rate to the total recombination rate. Total recombination rate is nothing but radiative recombination rate plus non-radiative recombination rate. Here RR is the radiative recombination rate and RNR is the non-radiative recombination rate. Internal quantum efficiency can also be expressed in terms of lifetime as 1 by tau r divided by 1 by tau r plus 1 by tau nr. Here tau r is the radiative lifetime and tau nr is the non-radiative lifetime. The external quantum efficiency is defined as the ratio of photons emitted from LED to the number of photons generated internally, and it is given by the formula 1 by n into n plus 1 the whole square. Here n is the relative refractive index of the semiconductor with respect to air. In general, relative refractive index is equal to square root of mu r into epsilon r. Mu r is the relative permeability and epsilon r is the relative permittivity. Next is the optical power. The optical power generated internally in LED is given by P int is equal to internal quantum efficiency into H into C into I divided by Q into lambda. Here H is the Planck's constant, C is the velocity of light, I is the current injected into the LED, Q is the electron charge, and lambda is the wavelength of the light. Optical output power emitted from the LED is given by P is equal to external quantum efficiency into internal power, that is optical power generated internally, and it is equal to 1 by n into n plus 1 the whole square into P int, that is the internal power. Next, let us see the previous year's question. First question, this question was asked in June 2014. Laser. We know that laser emits monochromatic light of high intensity. Next, solar cell. Solar cell delivers power to load. Next, photodiode. Photodiode, it consumes electrical power due to the incident light. Next, LED. It emits monochromatic light of low intensity. Hence option C is correct. Second question, which one of the following is not LED material? This question was asked in December 2014 and they have given gallium arsenide, gallium phosphide, silicon, silicon dioxide. Choose the correct option from the following. Option A 1 and 2, option B 2 and 3, option C 3 and 4 and option D 1 and 4. We know that LED is made of gallium arsenide and gallium phosphide, but they have asked which is not the LED material. So silicon and silicon dioxide. Hence option C is correct. Next question. This question is assertion and reason type. It was asked in December 2014. The two types of optical sources used in transmitter of optical communication link are LED and laser. Reason: lasers are costly and hence not preferred for small distance low cost systems. Here both assertion and reason are true, but reason is not the correct explanation of assertion. Next question. This question was asked in December 2014. It is match the following type. First, LED. We know that LED gives spontaneous emission. Next, avalanche photodiode. It is related to current gain. Next, tunnel diode. It is heavily doped. Next, laser. It gives coherent radiation. Hence, option C is correct. Next question. This question was asked in June 2015. Light emitting diodes fabricated from gallium arsenide emit radiation in the option A ultraviolet region, option B visible region, option C microwaves, option D infrared region. Here option D is correct. Next question. This question was asked in December 2015. It is assertion and reason type. Assertion: light is electromagnetic wave in nature and these may be X-rays, radio waves, microwaves, etc. Reason: the amount of energy depends on the intensity of light rays. The energy associated with each photon is proportional to the frequency. Here both assertion and reason are true, but reason is not the correct explanation of assertion. Next question. This question was asked in Jan 2017. Which of the following statements are correct in case of LEDs? Homojunction LEDs are often surface emitters. Heterojunction LEDs are edge emitters. Heterojunction LEDs are often surface emitters. LEDs provide monochromatic and coherent radiations. Find out the correct answer. Here we know that homojunction LEDs are surface emitters and heterojunction LEDs are edge emitters. And LED gives incoherent radiations. So option A is correct. That is 1 and 2. Next question. Arrange the below mentioned materials to produce LEDs in order of their increasing emission wavelengths. This question was also asked in Jan 2017. Indium arsenide, silicon carbide, gallium phosphide, gallium arsenide. Here silicon carbide will have the lowest wavelength and then gallium phosphide and then gallium arsenide, and indium arsenide will have the highest wavelength. So option B is correct. Next question. This question was asked in November 2017. An LED made of gallium arsenide operates at a wavelength of 0.86 micrometer. The surrounding medium is the air. The relative permittivity of gallium arsenide is 12.9. The external quantum efficiency of the LED is option A 2.31%, option B 23.1%, option C 13.1%, option D 1.31%. Here option D 1.31% is correct. Let us see the solution. To find the external quantum efficiency, first we have to find the relative refractive index, that is N, of the semiconductor with respect to air, and that can be calculated by using the formula N is equal to square root of mu r into epsilon r. For air medium, mu r is equal to 1. Hence we have N is equal to square root of epsilon r, which is equal to square root of 12.9 which is equal to 3.59. Now the external quantum efficiency of the LED can be calculated by using the formula eta E is equal to 1 by n into n plus 1 the whole square. Substituting n is equal to 3.59, we have eta E is equal to 0.0131. So expressing in percentage, we have external efficiency is equal to 1.31%. Next question. This question was asked in July 2018. For optical sources, the following statements are given. First statement, they should have large spectral bandwidth. They should have very narrow spectral line width. They should have accurately tracked the electrical input signal. They should have linearity property. Which of the following options are correct? We know that optical sources should have very narrow spectral line width, and they should accurately track the input signal, and also they should have linearity property. Hence option B is correct. Next question. This question was asked in December 2019. It is about laser diode, but since they are comparing it with LEDs, we will see that question. Laser diode generates monochromatic coherent light which reduces chromatic dispersion. Laser source is useful for high power long distance optical communication. Lasers have longer lifetime than LEDs. Laser diodes are less temperature sensitive to LEDs. If you see LEDs, they have longer lifetime than lasers, and they are less temperature sensitive than laser. Hence option 3 and 4 are wrong. But 1 and 2, that is laser generates monochromatic coherent light which reduces chromatic dispersion, and laser source is useful for high power long distance optical communication, are correct. Both the statements are correct. Hence option A is correct. In the next video, we will see in detail about laser diodes. Thanks for watching the video. For more videos, don't forget to subscribe our channel.